wondered what would have happened if Muzan were reborn with all of his memories? Would he finally overcome his fear of death? Can he finally defeat Tanjiro and Yoriichi once and for all? And finally, can he conquer the sun? Well, when Muzan opens his eyes again, he feels nothing. No strength, no heartbeat, no warmth. The world is silent. For a moment, he thinks he's still dead. Then it hits him. He remembers everything. His battles, his empire, his downfall beneath the sun. Every memory floods back like fire in his veins. He remembers Yoriichi's blade, Tamayo's betrayal, the Demon Slayers, the war that destroyed everything he built. Now, lying in the body of a newborn, surrounded by panicked voices in the cold air of the Heian era, he understands the truth. He has been reborn. But Muzan doesn't cry from pain or fear. He cries out of rage. Rage that fate dares to toy with him again. Rage that the universe has given him life not as a god, but as a helpless infant. As weeks pass, Muzan begins to see the truth of his second life. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, he thinks not as a ruler, but as a survivor. Demons are gone. The blue spider lily is lost. Humanity will never remember his name. So he makes a decision. If he cannot rule the world through fear, he will master it through knowledge. He decides that he will take revenge on Yoriichi, Tanjiro, and the rest of the Demon Slayer Corps that ended his empire. So he decides to execute his plan now. Even as a child, he studies medicine, memorizing every word spoken by healers. He recalls the formula of the doctor's medicine that once saved and cursed him. Muzan smiles, not with warmth, but with purpose. Fine, he thinks. If the world no longer fears me, then it will depend on me. As he grows, the same shadow from his past returns. Sickness. His body is frail, each heartbeat a countdown. Yet, unlike before, he isn't afraid. He knows what's coming. He knows that a doctor will appear, and that this man holds the key to everything. The medicine of the blue spider lily. Muzan remembers killing the doctor in a fit of rage, and the regret that haunted him for centuries afterward. But this time, he will not make that mistake. When the doctor comes to treat him, Muzan listens carefully. He hides his fear behind calm curiosity. The doctor explains his experimental cure. Muzan already knows the outcome, but he nods, playing his part perfectly. Days pass. The medicine weakens him at first, just as before. His skin pales. His breath grows shallow. The doctor assures him that it will take time to work, but Muzan remembers how impatient he once was. This time, he waits. Weeks later, the change begins. His strength returns, slowly, steadily, and without the hunger for human flesh. His pulse grows strong. His body stable. For the first time in 2 lives, he feels peace. The doctor weeps, calling it a miracle. Muzan only smiles, knowing the truth. He understands the blue spider lily's secret, and he intends to perfect it. As the sun sets that night, Muzan looks at the fading light through his window. He doesn't feel the burning fear he once did. Instead, he feels purpose. The next day, Muzan summons the doctor, offering a reward as the man approaches. In a twist of turn, Muzan instantly kills the doctor and devours him. He does it not from hunger, but resolve. He did this to make sure no other powerful being besides him can be reborn if he has similar illness. Years pass, and Muzan's second life becomes everything his first was not. He no longer fears the sun. Its warmth now greets him instead of burning. He walks beneath it proudly, a man who defied death itself. His beauty, intellect, and charisma captivate all who see him, turning him into a symbol of perfection, a man untouched by time. In this peaceful era, Muzan marries a noblewoman and starts a family. For the first time, he feels something genuine. Pride. His children, 3 sons, strong, intelligent, and ambitious, embody his perfected blood. In them, he sees the promise of eternity, his true legacy. Yet behind his smile, the old hunger stirs, not for flesh or power, but for dominance. Memories of Yoriichi's blade, Tanjiro's defiance, and the Obuyashiki curse haunt him still. Muzan cannot forget. He cannot forgive. And so, behind the calm mask of a nobleman, he moves once more in the shadows. This time with purpose. When Muzan meets Tamayo again, a woman dying from an incurable illness, he recognizes her instantly. The same sorrow, the same desperation. But this time, he sees opportunity. Muzan offers her the same gift he once gave in another life. Eternal life. Tamayo awakens as a demon once more, but now Muzan binds her with gentle words instead of force. Years later, as the world moved quietly beneath the sun, Muzan's plans deepened. Through whispers, he learned of twin boys, Yoriichi and Michikatsu Sugikuni, heirs to a noble family blessed with extraordinary strength. The name Sugikuni alone awakened ancient memories, the only human who had ever brought him to his knees. But this time, Muzan would not act blindly. He could erase the Sugikuni line before the twins ever grew strong. Yet he knew better. If Yoriichi died young, Michikatsu, the one destined to become Kokushibo, would never be born of envy. And Muzan needed Kokushibo, a warrior who rivaled the sun, mastered the moon, and could serve as his perfect weapon, not his enemy. So Muzan waited. He still releases a few demons to roam, knowing Yoriichi's brilliance will spark Michikatsu's envy. And from that demons distributed around, the Demon Slayer core will inevitably rise once more. The story of the twins went according to the original story, from Yoriichi leaving his home to his wife dying. When Yoriichi returned and the twins continued their lives as demon slayers, Muzan finally made his move. One night, he approached Michikatsu in secret. To Muzan, that conflict was perfection. He saw in Michikatsu the mirror of his own younger self. Brilliant, desperate, terrified of insignificance. He did not appear as a monster, but as a savior wrapped in serenity. He spoke of the mark, the curse that would end Michikatsu's life before he could ever outshine his brother. Then, in a voice smooth as silk, Muzan offered a choice. You wish to surpass him, don't you? Then become what he never can. Eternal. Temptation 1. Muzan's blood entered Michikatsu's veins, and from that moment, Kokushibo was born. From afar, Muzan smiled. The first pillar of his new empire had risen. As for Yoriichi, Muzan avoided him completely. Even in rebirth, stronger and wiser than before, the memory of that burning blade still seared his mind. He knew that one misstep could end everything, so he hid within the shadows, letting his demons multiply and humanity grow complacent. Yet deep within his immortal heart, he whispered the same words again and again. Your time will come, Yoriichi, but it will be on my terms. Just as in the canon, the scene unfolds unchanged. Muzan finds Hakuji amidst the carnage, the perfect vessel shaped by tragedy. Without surprise or pity, he offers the same cruel mercy. As Muzan's blood seeps in, Hakuji's humanity burns away. And from that pain, Akaza is born. It was then that Muzan's grand vision took form. From the chaos of centuries, he selected the strongest, Doma, Hontengu, Gyoko, Nakime, and Gyutaro among them, shaping them into the 6 upper moons, his perfect instruments of dominance. Yet even Muzan understood the danger of perfection. The future had to remain intact. The Ubuyashiki bloodline, the rise of the Hashira, the existence of Tanjiro Kamado. To ensure it, he permitted the birth of lesser demons. Muzan allowed the existence of the lower moons, weaker demons meant to clash endlessly with the Demon Slayer core, ensuring the world's fate unfolded as it should. Those whose fates were tied to future pillars like Giyu, Sanemi, Shinobu, and Obanai. Each tragedy they caused, each scar they left would forge the very heroes destined to oppose him. He would not alter destiny, only control its rhythm. The Ubuyashiki family would endure, the Hashira would rise, and Tanjiro Kamado's path would remain untouched. In the silence of eternity, Muzan smiled. Even fate served him now. Generations go by. The Demon Slayer core still survives. And then, one winter morning in the mountains, a boy named Tanjiro Kamado is born. Muzan knows this boy's name the moment he hears it. He studied the Kamado line for centuries, the descendants of the Sunbreather, his greatest enemy. But this time, he won't wait for Tanjiro to grow strong. He won't repeat the past. He'll strike first. Years later, Tanjiro walks down the snowy mountain to sell charcoal. Muzan had waited centuries for this day. While he's gone, Muzan arrived in human form, calm, elegant, and terrible. At his side stood his 3 sons. Standing behind him are Kokushibo, Doma, and Akaza. Muzan stares at the Kamado family, the same faces that once defied him in another life. He remembers it all. How Nezuko survived, how Tanjiro fought, and how they ended him. He gives the order. The Kamado house is destroyed in moments. The family was torn apart. By the time the snow settles, the Kamado bloodline ends. Tanjiro returns, carrying his basket of charcoal, only to find silence. His house is broken. The air was thick with blood. Muzan said, his voice carrying like velvet and venom. You came back just in time. I've been waiting for you. Tanjiro froze. His breath shattered. His knees buckled. He could barely whisper a sound before a hand impossibly fast gripped his shoulder and forced him to his knees. Do you know me, boy? No, of course you don't. But I remember you. The one who defied me. The one who destroyed everything I built. Tanjiro's confusion turned to horror. He tried to move, but the pressure of Muzan's sons kept him down. The Demon Lord leaned closer, his presence suffocating. From behind, a faint sound stirred. Nezuko's breath. She rose weakly, her eyes opening to the sight before her. Tanjiro screams her name, but Muzan calls him in a calm, cruel smile. Tanjiro Kamado, just like before. Tanjiro freezes. Before? How could this monster know his name? Muzan stepped closer to her, lowering himself to meet her gaze. Ah, the one who survived my gift, he whispered. How fascinating. And then he does something even worse. He lifts Nezuko's body and devours her in front of Tanjiro. Tanjiro screams helplessness. Muzan laughs softly. This time, there will be no Nezuko to save you. You should thank me. I've given your family purpose, even if it's only to remind the world that I am eternal. I have returned, and this time there will be no sunrise strong enough to stop me. Tanjiro grabs his axe and charges, but Muzan's sons move faster. In a flash, they cut him down. As his vision fades, the last thing he sees is Muzan's smirk. Moments later, Giyu Tomioka arrives. He sees the destruction. He sees Tanjiro's lifeless body, and he sees Muzan. Giyu freezes. But before he can react, Muzan looks straight at him, and without hesitation, he devours Tanjiro in front of Giyu's eyes. The sight fills Giyu with fury. He rushes in with full power, but it's useless. Akaza appears behind him. One strike, Giyu falls. The water Hashira, gone. The news spreads through the Demon Slayer Corps like wildfire. Yoshiki calls for an emergency Hashira meeting. Every pillar gathers. The message is clear. Muzan has returned. But before they can even plan their next move, the walls tremble. The air grows thick. From the shadows, they appear. Muzan, his upper moons, and his demon sons. They found the hidden mansion. Hashiras versus upper moons. A battle unlike any before. Rengoku's flame lights up the hole, but Kokushibo cuts through it effortlessly. Akaza as he crushes Tengen. Doma freezes everything in sight. Mitsuri and Openai fight side by side, only to be swallowed by Muzan's wrath. One by one, the Hashira fall. Yashiki stands firm, watching the carnage unfold. He looks directly at Muzan and says, "You were never meant to be eternal." Muzan? Not this time. And in one swing, he ends the Ubuyashiki bloodline. Days later, cities fall silent. Japan changes overnight. Without the Demon Slayer Corps, no one can stop Muzan. The people worship him out of fear. And soon, the entire world begins to change. Muzan expands beyond Japan to every continent. Europe, America, and Africa. Humanity begins to crumble under the rule of the Demon King. And all of it happens under sunlight. In this world, no one remembers the name Tanjiro Kamado. No one remembers the flame of hope that once burned against the night. The age of demon slayers is over, and the world belongs to Muzan. He sits by his throne, feeling something strange. For centuries, he has ruled without challenge. He has conquered death, conquered sunlight, and conquered the world. But deep inside, something feels empty. He looks at the sunrise one morning, the same sun he once feared, and wonders what all this power was for. He remembers that tiny boy with the axe, Tanjiro, the fire in his eyes even when death was certain. For a brief moment, Muzan feels something like regret. But then, it fades. Because regret is for humans, and Muzan Kibutsuji is no longer human. But then, something like a descendant of Yoriichi emerges, who we call Demon King Tanjiro. Well, click on this video to see what will happen if